minute.
Okay.
Recording is on.
Okay. And I'll just do the intro. This is WIKISPEED editing and hardware on Sunday, February the 6th, 2022. And go ahead, Kirill.
All right. I continued reading the book. This week I managed to get to the mid mark. So I'm in chapter 10 and I'm reading the XM principles, the extreme manufacturing principles. I'm going slowly because I just don't have enough time, but I'm still going. One idea that I'm noticing right now is, one issue that I'm noticing is the book started with kind of the exercises for new team members. And I was so excited to see how these exercises will progress. But now, little by little, the book shifted to kind of a more theoretical part of Agile and not so much exercises. So it's kind of more difficult to read and more boring, I would say. So this might be something that we incorporate in the future to add more exercises in these chapters. I think it will be nice continuation from the early chapters. Anyways, for next week, I'm continuing with reading and taking notes of what I notice.
Excellent. And this is William Neal from London, Ontario.
Any blocks?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No blocks.
Okay. All right, William.
Hi, I'm William Neal from London, Ontario, and I noticed that I kind of got caught up on the formatting of the Scrum-specific vocabulary. So today I copied a large section of the book into LibreOffice and found a way to find and replace formatting with hundreds of words being replaced at a time rather than
Nice.
And so I think I'm going to continue that because that will help me to focus more on the topics and observations as similar to what Kirill has been focusing on, which is how is the book readable, useful, suggesting edits of a structural rather than grammatic nature. So, that's what I hope to do. But anyway, that saved a lot of time today in editing my chapter. I didn't quite finish the chapter, but it took me a lot less time than would have otherwise taken.
Yeah. And William, are you able to then pour whatever you did back to Google Docs? Or?
Yeah, and I just did it modestly because it can be complicated. There are some issues that arise. I don't want to do too much at once because the capitalization gets ruined at the beginning of a sentence if there's a Scrum term at the start of a sentence. So you still have to edit it, but it's far less tedious. Far fewer keystrokes.
Yeah, awesome. You have to do a show and tell.
Good. Okay, we could do that in crosstalk. It wouldn't take too long. I have like a sample.
Yeah.
So that's our book. I wonder if we can continue with the what should we step.
So any blocks, or pardon me, what are you doing the coming week on the book?
Oh yeah.
And any blocks on the book, and then anything on the hardware.
Okay. So I guess with the book, I'll continue in chapter 16 next week, and I'll try to employ that new approach and then focus more on structural edits and readability edits. And if you'd like, we can transition to hardware.
Yeah, any blocks on the book?
The book, there's no block other than limited time. So,
okay. Yeah, hardware.
So the hardware, this week I did more on the ROS system, focusing on watching a tutorial. So I'm coming along. So the second week in a row I've actually worked on robot operating system. Had a few conversations about it, and I was building robots, of course, but that's not robot operating system, just part of my job. So anyway, doing better this week than in previous weeks, and 2 weeks in a row doing robot operating system active work.
Okay. So coming week on the hardware and blocks on the hardware?
The blocks gain time. The coming week in the hardware, I'll continue with the tutorials and exploring how to use ROS on my system. I've tried a few simple commands but expand my vocabulary of commands and understand the ecosystem that is ROS and just how to work with it, how to deal with other people's work or export work or put it onto a Raspberry Pi, just find out how to do things with it. And that's my continued learning process.
Okay. This is Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada, and past week, not too much. I'm stuck on something. I'm going to present that as a block. Hardware coming week, similar to before. Maybe look at more ROS, get a hold of the operating system, work through the tutorial some more. And more kind of, I've got some research to do, which I'll mention now. I've got one thing is I'm trying to solder some wire together, and it's the solder kind of drips onto the wire, but it doesn't flow into the braid of the wire. So I'm having a problem with that. If anybody can help,
Were you
we'll
using
talk in crosstalk. And the other block I came up with, I sent out an email about Raspberry Pis are they've gone up 10 times in price. They're not available. Yeah. So at least on Amazon and Alibaba and Adafruit, they're scarce and valuable. Now there's alternatives to Raspberry Pi. I wrote a thing. I'm not going to go over it here, but there's alternatives. There's ways around it. You're still talking $100 to $130 for a computer on a board. And so that's an interesting kind of block we can talk about. It's not really a block right now because we're not at the stage where we need more Raspberry Pis, and we all seem to have them. And so then it's over to Kirill on the retro. Your score, the team score. Any suggestions for process improvement?
Yeah, so my score, I think it's 2, just because I found some time to read, more scheduled time than before. I think the team is doing well, probably 8 or 9. Any suggestions for improvement? I guess once I finish the book, I will need a meeting maybe with William just to create a kind of overall plan of the book, so that we talk about the flow. I need a discussion there. Other than that, I don't have any suggestions for improvement right now.
Okay, William?
So I guess I would say the book, maybe 7 out of 10. Robot operating system, 6 out of 10. Got some work done in both this week. And the team is pulling 8 or 9 as well, and we're doing great. Just keeping with a steady, systematic approach. Maybe some cross-talk response to Kirill's suggestion for a meeting. That'd be great.
Okay, and I would bump everybody's score because I give myself 2 for showing up at the meeting, and so for me it's like 3 or 4. And the team, I agree, is a 9. And process improvement, I don't have any right now. So now we can go to crosstalk, and why don't we do the book Kirill's suggestion first? Crosstalk.
Good.
Yeah. So William, if you can show us how you did the LibreOffice trick.
Okay, so I'll just pull up my LibreOffice and maybe share my screen here. Okay, I'm just going to make a few modifications here. All right, so there's some Scrum related words, and we can just see them repeating throughout the book. Now, what if I want to change all the Scrums to italicized? I can go in here into edit and find and replace. And then there's Scrum. I'll type in Scrum here, and then I can go to other options and go to format. Now the defaults were really strange, and I had to wrestle with them for a while.
William, is that a pop-up? Because I'm not seeing the
Oh, you can't see the
dialog
pop-up.
box.
Okay, maybe I can try unsharing and see if I can just do my whole screen here.
Yeah.
Try this again. Entire screen. There we go. Oh, wow, there's infinity. Okay, now can you see it?
No.
Or you can't see my shared...
We see only the LibreOffice.
I see
Okay,
the
now-
LibreOffice document,
Good.
but
Okay, I'm going to try to pull up the find and replace again. Can you see this?
Well, right now I don't see anything.
Oh, no.
You're not sharing.
But that's strange. You see it, Lauren?
it's actually you're superseding it. It's there. I think it's like on the side or something.
Oh, okay. Give me a second. I think there is a button there. No.
Your screen, your voice replaced. You put your W in instead of the share the screen. Try and share the screen again.
Okay.
I think that's a bug in JITS.
How about this?
No, we're just seeing your. We're just seeing WN.
Oh, no. Yeah, because it just went to infinity. Oh, so sad. If there was this resume, you would for sure be able to see the whole thing. Because I am sharing.
Yeah. Oh, no, we cannot. Lauren, you're muted.
Can you see? Well, I just went back to not sharing now.
Oh, something is coming up. I can see myself multiple times right now.
Oh, because you shared.
What? No, I can see your screen, I think.
Oh, that's Lauren's screen.
Oh, maybe that's Lauren's screen. Okay. Well, that's all right.
Okay.
I guess
But anyway, I just went to find and replace, and there's a little selection for other options. And in there, I pressed the format. And under the format, there are 9 tabs, and I had to go through each one and make sure the settings were reasonable. And there is at least a way to reset it. And I just told it to change the font to italic style.
Right. Okay.
And then for the word Scrum, it will find the word Scrum, and matching the case for a capital on the S, it will replace it with a common letter and then italicize it. And then I just pressed replace all, and I just did it here, and too bad you couldn't see it, but it replaced 5 words of Scrum with italics.
I see.
So,
nice. And then you just copy paste back to.
Yes. So just doing a small part of a chapter at a time and trying not to get too much at a time. So it still has to be reread as you do it. That's all.
Okay.
But definitely will save many, many hours over the time of the book. So, or at least many, many minutes.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. You had suggested getting together in Toronto, or getting together. I don't know when I said in Toronto, because I actually am going to Toronto a fair bit through work in the next couple months. So,
I see. I'm not going often to Toronto. My office is in Toronto, and I'm going probably twice a month.
Oh, but you don't live in Toronto, do you?
Yeah, I live in Oakville.
Oh, yes, Oakville. Okay. Yeah, so,
Right.
Okay.
So we can definitely organize something face-to-face, but I was okay also if we organize a discussion online.
Sure. Yeah, we could do that.
Just to talk about the book in general.
Okay.
I was trying to share my screen and it turned off my microphone. So But I was able to see the dialogue boxes anyway.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's good. Well, when we're finished the book, or when you're finished the book and you're ready, we can have a good talk about it. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Will do.
And how about you, Lauren? Some topics for crosstalk. Solder. Were you
Yes.
using flux?
I'm using a solder that has flux, but I have flux. Do I need to paint flux on my wires?
And what kind of wires do you have?
One is silver, but Michael said it's copper covered with something else, tin. And one is red or brown.
You may have some oxidation on your wires. Maybe the solder's not hot enough. And so there could be corrosion on your soldering tip. So you might want to
they're kind of new. And I was trying to use a very fine tip, and I put that away, and I got the bigger tip. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I tinned the solder tip, and it works fine tinning it.
Okay,
But,
so that's a good indication. Then the
if you could stay on, let me show you the. I'm going to go get the wire.
Sure. Does the wire have an enamel cover, possibly? We had that problem too with enamel covered wires. They look like copper, but they have an enamel on them. You have to scrape it out. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And how is Boris doing in his school?
He's doing all right. They just finished his first semester.
Nice.
Yeah, he actually decided to pursue other co-op opportunities, so he will not be joining WIKISPEED.
No worries. I'm sure there's lots of possibility out there, and life changes quickly these days.
Yeah, agree.
Oh, I can see the wire there. Is it possible that the wire has an enamel cover? I can't quite hear. I think you're far from your microphone, Lauren.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, we can't quite hear you, what you're saying.
Magnified, it's kind of, there's bits of solder on it, but not, it's
kind
not
of gummed up.
Fibers of the wire.
Did you try scraping down the wire? Like use a file or something to scrape the wire?
So, I'm using solder with a flux core.
Okay. But did you scrape the wire first? Oh, there.
Sorry, I took my headset off to go over there.
I was just wondering, Lauren, did you try scraping down the wire first, removing a layer? Sometimes there's either oxidation or...
Oh, yeah, okay, so a little sandpaper?
Yeah, sandpaper would work.
Yeah, okay.
A file would also work.
Yeah, okay.
Do that with certain wires, and it would solve those kind of problems.
And then would it be a good idea to put some flux on the wire?
You can try with and without and see if it will beat up the proper way.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
I got farther than I did. I couldn't get enough heat into the wire to melt the solder.
Yeah, so that's another part of it, how hot your soldering gun is getting.
Yeah, I have it on full, and then but the wire you can see is kind of it's thin, and it's hard to. I put the alligator clip on right there.
What kind of wire is it?
It's a jumper. I'm soldering a jumper onto the thing from the LiDAR.
Okay. But
there's the LiDAR, and then I cut the wires on the LiDAR.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to solder on a jumper, and it's actually holding better than it has.
Yeah, I guess those few things are removing any covers is almost always a good step. Any layers of whatever molecules are there.
Yeah, so that's where and then I want to kind of fold it back and I don't have shrink tubing yet.
Okay.
I'm going to just wrap electrical tape on it.
That'll work.
Anyway, thanks for the ideas.
Good. and
I'll give it a shot. Anyway, anything else? Any other?
I may have to go soon, as I'll have another meeting at 9:30. But I'm appreciative.
Good to see you. Maybe we should meet in Saskatoon sometimes.
Yeah, let's just go knock on Michael's door and say, "Yeah, we're here." Good.
Okay. Okay. Take care.
Have a good night and take care.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.